My friends, I want to let you know that since I asked you to check if you're still subscribed to this channel, we have gotten back over 1,000 subscribers this past week. YouTube unsubscribed many of you without your knowledge, and I want to thank each and every one of you who resubscribed despite their efforts. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thanks to everyone who left super thanks. I absolutely respond to each one I receive. And if you enjoy this video, then please subscribe, because I gotta tell you, watching Doctor Who, The Devil's Chord was sheer torture, and making this video was a living hell. But all the best comedy comes out of pain, and I suspect our harsh jokes will make you laugh. Thank you for watching, and now on to the video. My friends, after watching episode 1 of Dr. Not Space Babies, just when you thought this trash couldn't get any worse, ta-da! It's worse. The Devil's Chord is not only far worse than the first episode, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. I'm not kidding, and I'm not exaggerating, folks. There are elements of this horrible, horrible episode that even surpass Star Trek Discovery in terms of sheer suck. It's tough for me to even fathom how Doctor Who could get so damn bad. It actually leaves Star Trek Discovery in the dust for sheer god-awfulness, but that's where we are, folks. The great challenge for me in reviewing this is doing my best to moderate my anger and vitriol in this review. The temptation to go scorched earth and get all medieval on this episode's ass is nigh unto irresistible, but I will do my very best to convey my disgust with the Devil's Chord without crossing lines I shouldn't. But by the end of this video, you'll know how I hated every single damn moment of it. So, how does it start? Disastrously, my friends. A music professor is teaching a young child how to play the piano, and he plays something called the Devil's Chord. Suddenly, a drag queen dressed like Bette Midler crawls out of the piano wearing an outfit seemingly lifted from Lady Gaga's closet. I'm not kidding. This weirdo then proceeds to suck the music out of everyone, which is literally shown as musical note symbols in the air, wraps it around their wand, and deep throats it, moaning. This was excruciatingly awful to watch. More on that in a minute, but holy crap, people. If you had any doubt that this season of Doctor Who Cares is going to be crammed full of woke agenda, doubt no more. Just 2 minutes in, we're introduced to a they, them, complete with pronouns, and I'm assuming, or hoping and praying, drag. Because I would hope that anyone this fucking clownish and garish is in drag and not just going around looking like this. Behold the maestro. What passes for a new villain in this misbegotten shit show formerly known as Doctor Who, a show I call instead Dr. Not. Basically, this they-them looks like Bozo the Clown screwed Bette Midler in a threesome with Pennywise, and the maestro was born and then dropped onto their head. Anyway, this they-them pops out of the piano you see here after the professor dares to play something called the Devil's Chord. So I guess, play the Devil's Chord, and a dreadfully overacting drag queen appears.
Well, whatever this/they is, if this is what appears when you play that chord, shit, don't play that chord.
I can't imagine anyone is going to actually enjoy watching this person doing an impression of Ursula wearing one of Elton John's coats from the 70s. One of the key problems with this show already, I mean, this entire series under Russell T. Davies, is Dr. Not and the they-them both overact flamboyantly, both of them, like they're performing in a drag show at a roller disco. This is fucking theater camp, people. Forget nuance, subtlety, forget about acting on camera. This is big stage acting. So big and overdone, people can see it in the cheap seats.
On this show, every seat is a cheap seat, because Doctor Who is being cheapened by the amateurish overacting and melodramatic strutting and posturing, and everyone who watches this sorry spectacle is cheapened too.
It's true, Skull of Calderon. Watching this show is painful. Everything is amazing this and amazing that. Doctor Who is not just constantly spinning, he's also striking poses like he's an extra in Madonna's Vogue video. It's cringe and it's embarrassing. I mean, is that really what Russell T. Davies and Ncuti Gatwa think being gay is? Because I've hung out and worked with gay people before, and they're not hyper weirdos who constantly have to be rolling their eyes and spinning around making jazz hands like a fucking refugee from Studio 54 in the 70s. Mostly they behave like normal human beings who go to work, get groceries, watch movies. Not every single fucking action is a flamboyant explosion that functions as the nonverbal equivalent of going wee. It's just as obnoxious and tiresome to watch as it is to watch your niece or nephew tearing around after ODing on too much sugar while banging a drum saying, "I want an Easter egg, I want an Easter egg, I want an Easter egg, I want an Easter egg." So anyway, Dr. Knott and Ruby Sunday, God, I hate that name, sneak into EMI Studios to hear the Beatles recording their first album in 1963, and it turns out they're horrible. Yeah, their songs are awful and banal. They walk in on another artist, maybe Lulu, maybe Petula Clark, I'm not entirely sure, but guess what? She's cringe too. Then they walk in on an orchestral recording session and they sound like a high school band. I wonder if it could be the result of the maestro sucking animated musical notes out of everyone, diminishing their musical ability.
Why not? The maestro is diminishing everything else about the show. That is, everything not already degraded by Russell T. Davies and Ncuti Gatwa and Chinballs and Moffat. On second thought, the show is about as shitty as it can be right now, so I withdraw the comment.
Au contraire, mon green frère. Believe me, it not only can get worse, it will get worse by the end of the episode. So they're in the EMI commissary and they notice from a newspaper that history is going wrong as Khrushchev threatens Iceland, which never happened. So they decide to split up and talk to the Beatles, Dr. Knott talking to Paul and Ruby Not Tuesday talking to John. Of course, we already know what the hell is going on. There's no big mystery here because we saw the opening. The only mystery is just how bad the finale will be. But still, let's see how the arch-hack Russell T. Davies allows it to unfold. But I tell you, the maestro is so damn repulsive and revolting. Every second this weirdo is not on screen, it's like a kiss on the forehead from Jesus. So, I'm in no hurry. Anyway, basically they're kind of vague about what exactly went wrong with music here. Waltzes and polkas kind of died off in the 20s and 30s. Now all the lads from Liverpool want to do is record a few old songs, get a little scratch together so they can settle down and get proper jobs. John tells Ruby Sunday they're planning on quitting. So Dr. Knott asks, "Don't you have some special music deep inside you hidden away?" And Paul says, "Yes, the most beautiful music in the world," and he hums it. And suddenly Dr. Knott drops his spoon, stunned. He looks around, and everywhere he looks he sees a weird freak reflected in various pieces of silverware and glass, and guess what? It's the maestro! Or, since I questioned the reason for the existence of this creature, it's the why-stro, as in why? Or you could just say John Candy on a really bad gender day. I don't know. It's too painful to look at, frankly. So anyway, they hoist a piano up on the rooftop for some reason. There's no more dancing, no more love songs, and the sky is full of smoke. Now it gets really annoying because it's 1963 and Dr. Knott confuses himself with Doctor Who, saying he lives over there, pointing at another part of the city with his granddaughter Susan. In other words, he's deluded into thinking he's the real doctor instead of Dr. Knott, and he's confusing himself with William Hartnell. Heh, whatever. So get this, gang. Gayness is now the only thing you're going to see on Dr. Knott, even in meaningless, casual background conversations. So Dr. Knott wants Ruby to play the piano because he is basically saying she's the only music left in this world, even though later on it's displayed that Doctor Who is very good at playing the piano, but never mind that. So he's trying to lure the maestro out in the open. And what does Ruby say? She says, "No pressure. Okay, I wrote this for my friend Trudy when a girl broke her heart."
Uh-huh. Dr. Knott is now simply making propaganda for the LGBTQIA MOUSE community. That's all there is to this show. But what else do you expect when Disney teams up with the BBC? Two of the wokest companies out there with a gay showrunner and a gay lead actor? What, out of that equation you think you're gonna get Rambo?
No, but the complete and total commitment to making everything about gender and sexuality is just sad, especially on what was once a family-friendly show oriented towards kids. So anyway, Ruby plays the piano and people all over the city open their windows and listen, seemingly puzzled. Then lo and behold, the creepy Waistro, fresh off an appearance on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm not even kidding. That's literally where Russell T. Davies found this cringy creep. Crawls out of the piano. And what does Dr. Knott do? He gets all spooked and he runs away again. I mean, I have never seen any doctor or pretend doctor run away at the drop of a hat. He ran all terrified in Space Babies. He's running away in The Devil's Chord. So is he Dr. Knott or Dr. Chicken Shit? What the fuck? It's just a drag queen that likes to generate cringe CGI musical notes, swirl them onto a baton, and then deep throat it, making orgasmic sounds. You know, the same stuff you see at story time in libraries these days.
Actually, when you put it like that, I think Dr. Knott has the right idea. Run away as fast as you can.
Very well, Harvey Cthulhu. Point taken. So anyway, folks, it really is almost impossible to convey just how grotesque this Waistro is. Just horrific overacting, horrible hair, ugly makeup. I mean, I know that shit wins stuff on RuPaul's Drag Race, but in real life, it's really fucking cringe. I mean, this is just embarrassing levels of mustache twirling high school stage acting with a twist. So anyway, they, them is overacting, doing their best impression of Ursula, doing an impression of Dr. Frank Furter, doing an impression of Charles Nelson Riley, doing an impression of a dildo, minus the charm. So Dr. Knott is fleeing in panic, tearing down the stairs, clucking like a chicken shit. When danger reared its ugly head, Dr. Knott he turned and fled, brave Dr. Knott. He runs out the building, runs for a dumpster. At that moment, as he's approaching the dumpster, I wonder if in his panic he's mistaken this dumpster for the TARDIS, just like Russell T. Davies has.
Actually, Russell T. Davies has mistaken this show for a toilet. That's perhaps why he keeps shitting in it.
Just look at how fucking panicked this pretend doctor is. I can't fight this thing, he says, eyes bugging out. So basically, what this piece of shit clown Russell T. Davies is saying is, this creepy Waistro is more terrifying than the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Weeping Angels, the devil himself chained in that asteroid. I have never seen any doctor or pretend doctor run away like this across several episodes. This is beyond pathetic, beyond disgusting. Russell T. Davies is either taking the piss out of the entire fandom, or he's that deluded as to believe that he's created a villain that towers over the Daleks, towers over the Cybermen, towers over the Weeping Angels, towers over the Master. What a fucking joke Russell T. Davies has become. I mean, holy shit. How cheesy is this? Look at this. This creepazoid descends from on high like Liberace being lowered onto the stage in Vegas in the 60s. And my God, this is just the corniest shit outside of Batman 66, and that was played for laughs. I have a feeling Russell T. Davies thinks this is scary, or this is funny, or this, God forbid, is actually making a fashion statement of some kind. I mean, fuck if I know. The closest I've ever come to watching RuPaul is on the commercials when I hit fast forward on the remote. I mean, can someone explain to me the point of this? Is it funny? Cool? Is this high drag queen fashion? Is this supposed to be scary? I have no fucking idea. I just feel disgusted that Doctor Who has been transformed into this sad little gay porn parody, minus the porn.
Thank God for small favors.
This is not the Doctor. That is not a villain. His fucking sonic screwdriver looks like some kind of sex toy, and the idea that this creep extracts and eats music, and instead of music simply being sound waves, Music is actually the Western symbols for music, drawn in the air. This is actually as bad as Star Trek Discovery, and in fact, God help me, I think that opening scene was worse. Worse than Star Trek Discovery. I mean, my God, even Alex Kurtzman didn't have fucking notational symbols being eaten out of the air. Like Mikey Spock bakes a cake, and a Klingork eats the fucking recipe on a piece of paper, and the cake is gone. Even that wouldn't be as fucking idiotic as this shit. I swear, at this point, I just want to quit watching this episode. I just want to say, fuck the review and quit watching. But you know, I think it's going to get even worse. So I want to be damn sure I point out as much that's awful about this filthy monstrosity of an episode as possible, so you all get exactly what you bargained for watching this review. But I hate every fucking thing about this trash except for the blonde chick playing Ruby Sunday, for she is hot as fuck, and every time it gets bad, I just look over at her and stop my head from exploding. I mean, look at these expressions on the Ystro. I have a feeling this Ystro actually thinks they're like sexy or some shit. I mean, seriously, this is not that far off from how this person looked on RuPaul, and I cannot fathom the mentality that would find this to be erotic material. Not even if you're gay. I mean, shit, I've seen things at the zoo I'd rather hump. Hippos, rhinos, certain reptiles, a waist-high knothole in a tree. I'd rather slam my dick in the door repeatedly while Oompa Loompas sing I'm a Little Teacup than get within 3 feet of this they-them. I will stop harping on this, but it is beyond my comprehension how this is considered to be entertainment. So here is Dr. Knott shushing Ruby Sunday in terror, hiding in the basement away from the Ystro. What the fuck? The Ystro says, I heard music and music is mine, which leads me to one conclusion. Barry Manilow sure has gone to shit. Because as far as I remember, he is music.
And he writes the songs. Poor Barry, he's gone on the skids. Or rather, them has gone on the skids. This is really painful to see.
So anyway, Barry Manilow goes down to, I don't know, suck the music out of Ruby Sunday.
Wait a minute. Is Ruby Sunday really Kiki D? 'Cause she had the music in her, she had the music in her, she had the music in her.
Okay, so Barry Manilow is going down into the basement to get Dr. Knott and Kiki D, so Dr. Knott projects a cone of silence, and now Barry can't go into their Mandy / could this be magic medley, which always kills them in concert. Meanwhile, an elderly lady opens up her piano and starts to play, which lures Barry Setanulo away because them writes the songs and nobody else, honey.
Look at Barry themalo pop out of the piano with more bad CGI animated notes ensuing. This is truly grotesque, and believe me, I've seen plenty of grotesque shit in my day.
Then, with Barry Theyalo gone temporarily, Dr. Knott goes back out in the alley and says, there are powers in the universe beyond like belief. And he says the toy maker tore him apart. I'm not even going to touch that. And he can't survive that again, namely the being torn apart by the toy maker. Hey, he said it, not me. So I guess Dr. Knott was traumatized by Chris Chinball's run, just like the rest of us.
But the really disgusting part of this is, this so-called doctor is complaining, oh no, if I face something like the toy maker again, I won't survive. Well, you fucking pussy, welcome to our world, where we don't regenerate, we get one life, and when we lose it, we die. So it begs the question, if you regenerate, is anything you do ever heroic? If you don't have anything at stake, shit, it's easy to face up to the Daleks or the Cybermen or even a sad overacting piece of shit refugee from RuPaul's Drag Race. So essentially, Russell T. Davies is making the Doctor out to be worse than a coward. He's making the Doctor out to have never been heroic because he never was risking anything except his companions' lives. Bravo! Way to wreck your show just to have an excuse to have the Doctor skipping happily like Little Red Riding Hood through the show and show a drag queen villain.
So Dr. Knott is ready to give up and run away. So of course, in a stunning and brave display of girl power, Ruby Sunday lends the Doctor her spare pair of balls and tells him, hey, the world didn't end in 1963, so get a grip and figure some stuff out, dude. So what he does is, he takes her forward in time to drop her home so he can surrender in peace. Joyride is over, honey. All aboff. This is kind of like if Captain Kirk, after dealing with Nomad and the Gorn and the Klingons and V'ger and Khan, finds a spider in his room and says, right, I'm out. So Dr. Knott takes her home and says, hasta la vista, baby, I'm cutting out. TARDIS transmission, don't fail me now. So she's like, okay, but when she gets out, it looks like the last day of Burning Man without the naked hippie chicks and dreadlocks. Dr. Knott says, yep, well, this is the Viceroy's doing. Ah well, sucks to be you, Ruby. But it sucks to be both of them, as it turns out. And it sucks to be everyone watching this pile of shit, because now the Viceroy pops up and says, boo, and everything vanishes. And Bet Manilow is in the spotlight again, honey.
Watching this makes me want to rip my own head off and shit in my own skull. It makes me feel like I did just that.
Me too. So Dr. Knott is all scared again, sigh. Me, I'm scared because this episode feels like the never-ending story without the flying snake goat guy.
At least it can't get any worse.
Oh yes it can.
Fuck me!
So basically, we get a drama queen of a finale where Bet Manilow is going to steal the music of the spheres, whatever that is, and extinguish the universe, ending all life, blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Knott, surprise, surprise, is shit out of ideas, so he tries to run back to 1963 as Bet Manilow is destroying the TARDIS with a fucking piano. So Dr. Knott heads back to EMI, sticks his sonic screwdriver into the recording console and uses John Lennon's guitar to record some music which he can use as a weapon. Meanwhile, Derry Cownalow shows up and drags Ruby outside using horrible, stupid CGI musical notation, and the Doctor grabs his sonic shit driver out of the console, and thank God, it appears maybe this shit show will end one day soon. So they, them, whatever the fuck, has Ruby all suspended in bad CGI and wants to get her because she's the last human with music in her heart. So the Viceroy tries to suck it out of Ruby Not Tuesday, but there's a song buried deep in her soul. It's the Carol of the Bells from Christmas, because she was abandoned at a church at Christmas as a baby, and Derry Cownalow is all troubled about it. It shouldn't be there, whatever. So for some reason, the creep stops, and then Dr. Knott suddenly decides he can use the Abbey Road piano to get rid of this creep because it has power, because it was used on so many hits for Abbey Road. And now we get to a truly unbearable ending. A music battle with the Vaistro playing violin and Dr. Knott playing the piano. Then Ruby joins in and they play the piano together, standing backwards all of a sudden like Jimi Hendrix on the guitar, and it's just so fucking awful. The Doctor is not a virtuoso musician, nor is Ruby, but suddenly they're complete master musicians for no other reason than the plot needs them to be. Stupid animated CGI notes fly around visibly in the air as this endless scene plays, no explanation as to why Barry Weissrolow isn't just eating all this music too. Just like they, them did earlier in the fucking show. Oh right, they, them can't now. They can't eat the music, because the plot needs them not to be able to all of a sudden. How silly of me. Folks, this entire episode is politicized nonsense, terrible writing, horrible acting. This is an insult to all Whovians and a total and complete waste of fucking time. I urge each and every one of you out there to steer clear of this if you have any love for the Doctor or your memories of the Doctor, because I tell you, the real Doctor is not to be found in Series 14 of Doctor Who. This is a sick, twisted child playing with a dead body and giggling through his own drool. Fuck you, RTD. You failed and you suck and you have wasted everyone's time, sir. In the end, the RuPaul Drag Race alum breaks their violin. Dr. Knott finds the special chord that can banish this supposedly powerful enough to destroy the entire universe entity, and he hits the wrong note. Which means we have about 10 more minutes of this submoronic shit before we can finally gasp and reach the end credits.
Wait a minute, dude. I know this is too much stupidity to bear, but stress again to the folks watching at home what this really means. There's a special chord that will banish a being so powerful it could destroy the entire universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is kind of like being able to stop a tank with a pencil eraser.
Yeah, but I mean, it's worse. It's worse than that. So Dr. Knott, a bunch of the notes of the chord hovering in the air, hits the wrong final note. The Waistro revives because of the wrong note, plays the harp to attack them, and actually says, and I'm not making this up, as the Waistro is playing the harp attacking them, says, "Sorry to keep harping on."
Oh my... Gee, this is Akiva Goldsman level awful. Like Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze in that Batman movie when he keeps saying awful puns like chill and cool it, ice hole. Russell T. Davis is really pathetic. I can't believe this guy could write once upon a time.
Well, get woke, go broke, Harvey. Not only financially, creatively as well. So the Waistro sucks Ruby into a cello, sucks Dr. Knott into a drum, but out in the hall, where the piano is rolled during the battle, John Lennon sees the notes over the piano floating there, and guess what? He and Paul finish the chord. Ta-da! So, the Doctor doesn't save shit. Ruby doesn't save shit. It's Deus Ex Lenina, folks. Welcome to what passes for Doctor Who these days. I fucking hate its guts. And then to add insult to injury, because Dr. Knott says, there's always a twist at the end. He has a big musical dance number extravaganza, and so Russell T. Davis owes me $145 because that's when I threw up on my own shoes. Avoid this like you would avoid anal violation in a Turkish prison, my friends. This is not Doctor Who. I'm not sure what the fuck this is, but it ain't Doctor Who. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.